Thousands of protesters have taken to the streets across Europe to denounce mass killings in Iran. A human rights monitor says it has verified the deaths of more than 3,000 people during weeks of demonstrations and a violent crackdown on dissent inside the Islamic Republic. Now Iranian expatriates and their supporters are demanding an end to the cleric-run regime.
Security was high at the Iranian embassy in London, where more than 1,000 people, many of them Iranians, had gathered to show solidarity with protesters in Iran. The Iranian regime has killed several thousand and arrested many more, according to human rights groups, but the true scale of the atrocities remains unknown. Due to the tight restrictions on the communications, this also affects many Iranians abroad, who are anxious to hear from their loved ones.
We are sad, we are devastated, we are heartbroken because we haven't heard from our family in Iran for like a week now. We don't know what's going on, if they're alive or not. But here, we are standing beside them and we are being their voice.
Thousands marched through the streets of Paris. The deadly crackdown appears to have quelled protests in Iran in recent days, but rallies were held in solidarity in several European cities on Saturday.
It is up to us here who enjoy our freedom to mobilize civil society, to put pressure on our leaders to take action. The Iranian people have a right to be helped and assisted, and above all they need sincere allies. Their allies are obviously a strong voice, which must be that of the European Union, a voice that defends the law and not the pact of brutes.
In Madrid, marchers chanted slogans calling on Donald Trump to launch an operation against the government in Tehran. For days, a US attack seemed imminent, but on Friday, Trump thanked Tehran's leaders for calling off hundreds of executions. Iran's nationwide protests erupted in late December over economic hardship and quickly grew into nationwide calls demanding an end of the Iranian regime. The country's supreme leader has blamed them on foreign enemies, including the US and Israel.
And for more, we're now joined by German-Iranian activist, writer, filmmaker, and journalist, Siba Shakib. Siba, with all that's going on in your homeland, thousands killed, injured, or imprisoned, and now protests across Europe, are politicians, European leaders, doing enough?
I'm totally aware of the worldwide situation that politicians in Europe and the world, around the world, have a lot to think and to do. But of course, the situation in Iran is very, very, very critical. People have been, thousands of people, as you said in your report, thousands of people have been killed. I'm very sorry, I have to put in the cable for my machine here. So many interviews and so many reports. So it's very difficult, but thousands of people have been killed in only a week, and tens of thousands have been imprisoned. It is very important that Europe shows that they are really democrats, that they really care about what's going on in the world, and that they do something about Iran. Sanctions, close the embassies, throw out the ambassadors and the staff, block the money of Iranian leaders in Germany, in Europe, in the rest of the world.
What about this? How do you feel about the U.S. taking action against Iran's leadership?
Well, that's a very critical point and a very good question, because we have had very bad experiences with especially the US and before that the British government taking military action and occupying Iran, trying to change the regime in Iran, or at least having influence in the change of regime and government in Iran. And it never took a good end. But at this point, we trust that the world is watching, that Europe is using its strengths so that if the United States takes action, military action in Iran, after the government is toppled, they will leave the government to the Iranians and not try to take it over and see it as their own possession or area of influence.
Protests have ebbed, and yet it seems the root causes have not been solved. Has the regime already won?
That's a $10 million question. Since 47 years and before that, against the Shah, again, for many decades, the Iranian people have tried to achieve democracy. Democracy is really all we want. Is it? It's a process, that's all I can say. You don't kick out a government that has so much power, like the mullah regime in Iran, in 2 weeks with no weapons and no military means.
German-Iranian activist, writer, filmmaker, and journalist Siba Shakib, many thanks to you.
Thank you.